nokuvuka kwabo kungcwele lanxa sihlukuluzwe emhlabeni sizojabula khona ekhaya kepha bayothokoza abafele ezandleni zenkosi sebebona izimangaliso bayothokoza nayo sindisi. If we never meet again this side of heaven, as we struggle through this world and its strife, there's another meeting place somewhere in heaven, by the side of the river of life.
Oh, they say we shall meet by the river, when no storm clouds ever darkening the sky. And they say we'll be happy in heaven. Oh, that wonderful, wonderful, sweet by and by.
Ezandleni zenkosi
Welcome to Harare City Center Church. Today we are going to be talking about mental health, and our area of focus is going to be depression. With me is Dr. Mwazha. Welcome, Dr. Mwazha.
Thank you, Amanda.
Dr. Mwazha is a medical practitioner who is a registered family therapist with a master's in counseling psychology. We have invited him here today so that we can discuss about depression and delve into it. Dr. Mwazha, welcome once again.
Thank you.
My name is Amanda.
Thank you.
My name is Amanda, and I will be your moderator.
Thank you, Amanda.
All right. So, Dr. Mwazha, in past years or recently, more people have become aware of mental health.
Sure.
And have began accepting that it's possible for someone to struggle with mental health.
True.
And today we've decided that we wanted to go a bit into the depression aspect of mental health. So, over to you. What is depression?
Okay. Yeah, depression is a mood disorder. What we mean by mood disorder is something to do with feelings, where you are having persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness. Not only that, also there's loss of interest in the daily activities. For example, this is a lady who used to like to have her hair well done. Now she does not take care of her hair. She used to like cooking everything. Now she's not cooking. So these are the two major cardinal symptoms of depression. where we are saying a feeling of sadness, hopelessness, persistent. And we're saying this is going on for a period of about 2 weeks. And then you have a loss of interest. And there are other criteria for diagnosis of depression, actually, which the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, of mental disorders gives us. There are other symptoms which need to be there, like you are change of appetite, where you maybe lose your appetite or it increases. Okay, that results in you losing weight or gaining weight. And then there's disturbance in the pattern of your sleep. Either you are oversleeping, or the commonest one is where you are not sleeping at all. You go to bed around 8, you sleep, around 1 you're up, you can't sleep. Or, you go to bed, you struggle to sleep. When others are now waking up, you want to be sleeping. And then another symptom which comes with depression is one of concentration. You can't concentrate. Okay, you can't even think properly. Another symptom which comes with it as well is loss of energy. You wake up in the morning, you are just feeling tired. You are just tired, And another one which is, indicates the seriousness of depression is where you are now feeling hopeless about living, what we call suicidal ideation. You think life's not worth living. I think I better die. Those are some of the major symptoms of depression. And we are saying, having one or two of the first ones, loss of interest in day-to-day activities, and what I've said too, feeling sad. One of those with 4 of these are the symptoms that constitute depression, which can be either mild, moderate, or severe.
All right.
That's what depression is about.
Okay. Thank you for...
I get carried away, so
Yes.
you need to say, stop.
Thank you. No, I think we understand from that, we understand what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that it is difficult for us to discuss depression, or for us to accept that we are going through depression? It seems that as much as we talk about mental health and are now more aware of it, and that there are people who go through depression and different mental health issues, actually accepting that I, Amanda, am struggling with depression, or accepting that my husband or my sibling or my child is going through depression, is something that we're still finding very difficult to do. Why is that stigma there? And why are we failing to accept the position that it's possible to suffer from depression?
You've just hit the head on the nail. Unfortunately, mental health disorders in general, they come with lots of stigma. Mm-hmm. More so to us African people, there's lots of stigma. Mm-hmm. You see, I always know when I'm doing presentation, when people that with us Africans, an organ of your body can be sick. Mm-hmm. It can be diseased. It's fine. It's acceptable. I say I've got diabetes, people understand. It's acceptable. I've got high blood pressure, people understand, sympathize with me. Even if you get HIV these days, people sympathize with me. But the moment it comes to mental health disorders, there's lots of stigma. Mm-hmm. And why is it like that? It's because of generally what I attribute to be the cause of mental health disorders. In our thinking, whether we are SDAs, whether we are Pentecostal, there's some underlying China.
Okay.
There is some, something going on in the spiritual realm that's causing this mental disorder. Mm-hmm. Okay, so people readily say, that's why you find that even treatment, people delay coming for treatment. There's something going wrong. I've heard actually, believers from all walks of life, there's mental health disorder, they don't come. Mm-hmm. They're suspicious about it. Yes. There's lots of suspicion, maybe something's going wrong there, the spirits, the what. To me, that's one of the major impediments why we don't really accept that, Mm. But not only that as well, our medical training is not really that much invested into mental health disorders. Yes. You find that even our leading physicians, name them actually, our leading nurses, they don't really pick up mental disorders because there's some bias towards the medical aspect of health. We are not looking at health that, as the World Health Organization defines, that is the physical, the mental, and the social. We are just focusing on the physical component. So there's lots of awareness which needs to be done, and I'm happy with this kind of programs. Okay. I don't know if I've answered that question.
I think you have. What I've understood is that there are a lot of myths that are attached to it. Therefore, we don't want to step out and be willing to accept it.
Yes.
But I hope with time, just as we have done with HIV, when HIV started, there was a lot of stigma attached to it.
Yeah.
If someone would outrightly come out and say, I am HIV positive, we would treat them a certain way. But
Definitely.
now, more and more people can talk about it, and we realize that life can go on. I'm
True.
hoping that as we have started discussing mental health, depression, and things like that, with time, we can also move away from the stigma and
Definitely.
start to realize that if we seek treatment, we can feel better.
It's very true.
Yes.
It's very true.
So we've
Actually, on that point, I've got some case which challenged me recently. Somebody is now in her 30s. She started having mental health disorders at the age of 12. And for 18 years plus, where were they going? Traditional healers, spirit mediums, the apostolic sects. That's what it is like.
Yeah.
It's really, really a sad scenario. And we are seeing a lot of those kind of presentations.
Yeah.
When all it failed, imagine now somebody's lost 18 years of their life.
Yeah.
What do you do now for them? That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I understand. So we've spoken about the signs, we've spoken about the symptoms. What I want to know is what causes depression?
Okay.
What exactly is it? Is it hereditary? Is it something that I could pick up because of my behaviors? Is it something that you can trigger in me? What is it exactly? Can we point to something and say, because you carry this gene, you're going to be depressed?
That's a very, very pertinent question, actually. We are saying there are multifactorial contributors to depression. Okay, a number of factors, actually. And we're saying depression is interaction of as I've already alluded to, the social, remember? The mind, what is happening in the physical realm, and what is happening in the societal environment. What are we saying? We are saying the major thing predisposing is biological. What do you mean by that? Underlying genetic factors, which contribute to vulnerability of one having, depression. Just like diabetes, it runs in families. Hypertension runs in families. So is with mental health disorders. There's some underlying genetic predisposition. And they say also biologically, there's some defect in the brain in modulating mood. Because remember, we said depression is a mood disorder. It's to do with feelings, emotions, And then we come to social factors which are stressful. Like now we've been going through COVID, actually, People have suffered loss of multiple losses, loss of relatives. I know families whereby the father is dead, the mother is dead, and only the children are left. I know families whereby, a number of families, relatives have died. Not only that, employment losses, Imagine, like COVID, when it came, there was December people have spent, come January lockdown, come February lockdown, but over 80%, 85% of Zimbabweans are what? Informal sector, you can imagine what it does to you. So loss of employment, those psychosocial factors, And then another factor which contributes to depression are your medical conditions, your health. We know that like cardiovascular diseases, heart problems, one can have depression on having that, but that also in itself can make one have depression, and then medications as well can contribute, to depression. So there are multi factors which contribute to depression, but the underlying thing which people need to know that just as you accept somebody with diabetes mellitus, learn to accept somebody with mental health disorders because there's a predisposing factor which is genetic. And if you take history, actually find that there are other relatives in the family, mother's side, father's side, who could have had some mental disorders.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear that.
I don't know whether that is no.
Yes, it's very comprehensive. I understood it very much. I have noticed that there are some people who could get depressed from comparison. So for example, these days there's a lot of social media. And in social media, we see the lives that people on social media want to portray to us. It may not necessarily be what their life is really like, but then they portray it to us. Now here's Amanda. I'm in Zimbabwe. I am 29, 28. My life plan was that I would have wanted to have a job, to be successful. Maybe I had my plan. Then I go on social media. Someone probably younger than me, probably my age, has got their life together, or it looks like they've got it. And then slowly I begin to compare until I get to a point of constant sadness, constant comparison, constant feeling like I am not worthy, I am not enough. Is that possible? Can we call that depression, or is it just
That's really
self-imposed?
no. That's it's not. Remember, we were saying depression. There's underlying predisposing factors, biological, isn't it so? But we are saying there are precipitating factors which precipitate, the manifestation of the symptoms of depression. Okay, and those are now our environmental factors. What we are talking about, somebody with a perception of loss. Okay, I should have been there, but I'm not there. That's a really major stressor.
Yeah.
And what does that is? I'm now a failure. It means I'm not good enough. And that's what depression does actually now. It generates what we call negative automatic thoughts. It's all now negativity. You spiral into depression. Okay, so that's really depression. Anyway, remember I said depression is a period of 2 weeks having those symptoms. Sadness and depression are two different things. Sadness is something like, a event which has happened, which makes me feel low, but I still have, interest in life.
Okay.
I still enjoy my meals. I still enjoy watching my soccer if I like soccer. Okay? I still can concentrate into other things. But with the depression now,
I lose interest.
you lose interest.
Okay.
Another source of depression which I didn't mention factor is relationship-wise, the family. I've been doing therapy for more than 20 years now, and 99% of my clients are women. And where's this depression coming from? The family, relationships. That's one of the major sources of depression as well. Yeah.
Do you want to go more into that?
Our time will not permit, but I think we'll need another in the future to talk about that, because that's really, really a major source of depression. And another thing which I would like the audience to know is that depression actually affects not only adults but even children. Okay. I'm currently working with the children who are 12, 14, who are in severe depression. Where is it coming from? I'll give an example of case studies actually whereby these are siblings. What happens? Domestic violence at home. At the age of 3 years, they see the father beating the mother. It's with them. Already they're depressed from that tender age. So depression is really, really serious condition. I've worked with clients now who are in their 40s. You trace it back. Where did it come? Childhood, adverse experiences, childhood. Okay. Another area which I'd left actually like, psychological trauma where there is no sexual abuse in childhood, So it's really, really, really a challenge.
Okay. Just to take you back a little bit, you spoke about the family relations and how mostly you've noticed it in women. I also think maybe our culture has let it be such that men don't really step up when they are facing difficult matters. Statistically speaking, are there scenarios where men also go through depression, or is it more normal in women and less in men?
According to the World Health Organization, that depression is more prevalent in women than in men.
Sorry.
But unfortunately now, men, they suffer from depression and they end up not seeking help. Because of that, they end up now suicidal. Not only that, actually, depression comes with another complication which comes with, self-medication. They go into substance abuse.
Okay.
If you want to see in Zimbabwe now, the amount of substance abuse is frightening. Why? Because of the major depression people are carrying. And that's our men mostly, actually, because they're supposed to be the breadwinners.
Yes. That was actually going to be where I was going. When I was doing my research, I realized that at least 1/3 of people who go through depression, or at least, actually, let me say, 1 out of 3 people who are going through depression end up being substance abusers. Is there a relation between depression and our subsequent behaviors. Are some of our behaviors, I don't want to say dictated, but are they dictated by the fact that we are depressed? Do I go more towards certain behaviors because I'm going through depression?
Mm-hmm. Remember what you said, Amanda? We said depression is a mood disorder. It's to do with feelings. It's to do with emotions, and that tend to create a lot of emotional distress in you. Now, for this depression, actually, I was reading World Health Organization says actually in other developed countries like Zimbabwe, over 76% to 85% of people living with depression go untreated. They go what? Untreated, undiagnosed. And you can imagine now you have this severe emotional distress in you. You feel that low. You want to what? To get out of that. So what do? You look for psychoactive substances. What called self-medication. Okay. So you find that many men with depression, they end up with lots of substance abuse disorders. Like alcohol, cannabis, even ladies now they're into that. Why? To try and alleviate the symptoms of depression so that they can get out of it and do something. But unfortunately, you find that, it's a tug of war between depression and substance use disorders because you start using those substances, they create their own symptoms again, which lead now to what? To more depression. So it's a vicious cycle. That's why it is like that.
And you pick up other diseases as you go as well from those substances.
Definitely.
Okay, I hear you. How long? I know we've said that if you're going through this for about 2 weeks, then you know that it's depression.
Yeah.
But is it, if I were to come to you today and then you diagnose me with, I think Amanda, you're struggling from depression. How long is it going to last? Is it something that lasts 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months? Is it chronic? Can I be treated from it? And let's say you have helped me to get out of depression without abusing substances. Is there a chance of me relapsing or slipping back into depression?
I'm getting 2 questions. You are saying depression. Is it a manageable condition? Can it be treated?
Yes.
And they are saying after treatment, is there a possibility of relapse?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Depression, actually, as I was saying, you find that some people, they are having depression for quite a long time before it is diagnosed. Okay. Fortunately, with people, no postpartum, after delivery, it can quickly be diagnosed and everything. But with many people, it's starting from childhood. And they live with long-standing depression. And as I was saying, actually, statistics from World Health Organization, men in the third world countries, they go without having even treated, diagnosed. But for those who come and we pick it, depression is a condition that is manageable. It can be treated. That's the sad thing, actually. Treatment of depression, remember what we were saying that, there's a biological factors contributing to that. Chemicals in the brain, what called neurotransmitters, that are going to imbalance, okay, and other factors, So there are medications which are there, which can help somebody actually get out of their depression, okay. And not only that, depression, remember we are saying it's about the thinking patterns, isn't this so? Yes. That's where psychotherapy comes in. So you find that management of depression is a dual approach. Medical approach and psychological interventions, which is psychotherapy, where we are trying to help the client change the way they are thinking about their situations and how they are feeling about these situations, what we call cognitive restructuring. We are restructuring their thoughts. Because with the depression, it comes with what we call negative automatic thoughts. Everything becomes negative, everything becomes negative. So it's really a manageable condition. And usually we are saying somebody goes on antidepressants, at most they can be there for 12 months. After that, you win them of their medication, they're fine, they go on with their life. Wow. So it's something that is treatable. Yeah. And also, that's where family therapy comes in, because now we are looking at the client from their social context. What are the precipitating factors from the family? Is it work? Then you address those, precipitating factors. So it should be a holistic approach. About relapse, it's possible for somebody to relapse. That's where psychotherapy again becomes very, very important now, to help somebody prepare for the future. If these things happen again, how can we handle them, Then you help them in preventing to go into relapse. But the honest truth is that, depression is something which is manageable. Even suicide ideation, we've had clients who have attempted suicide, but you see them in therapy, they can be helped again to rethink about their life, see the value of life, and they move on with life. So the green light is really there. But it's a question of having social awareness and coming for therapy in time.
I think we need to change our mindset when it comes to therapy.
Definitely.
Because we have such a negative view of seeking therapy, going for counseling, going for therapy.
Definitely.
Because we assume that it means we have lost. And it also means bearing ourselves. I guess it comes back to what we were talking about third world countries. Our culture is such that we are taught to get up and go. You're facing something, it's happening, but it's okay. Don't accept it. The moment you accept it, you're allowing yourself to feel it. Whereas in psychotherapy, I think you will be teaching us to accept the feeling and then do something about it and then move on.
Definitely.
Because unless you treat it, there's a domino effect in everything else that
Definitely.
you do.
Definitely.
So I think we really need to change our mindsets. I'm sure as we do more of these discussions, as the world is becoming more aware of mental health issues, these things will begin to change. More people will begin to go for therapy. And I hope the statistics that say 75 to 85% will go down significantly.
More so with us, the black men. We need to change our mindset. That traditional masculine ideology whereby men should be strong, men should not show feelings, men should not, seek help. It's a sign of weakness, If I'm having some mental problems, no, I can't seek help from another man. I think we need to change that mindset.
True.
Actually, we're talking to Christians, most believers. It's Proverbs 14, which says, without counsel, what happens? The nation fails. In the multitude of counselors, there's what? There's hope, there's victory.
Yes,
you see?
true.
And we speak of the Holy Spirit. Who is he? He's a counselor, isn't this so? He's a counselor.
That's true.
So we need counseling.
All of us.
All of us.
Yes. That's okay. Just I want to pass through something. You said something about postpartum depression. This one is normally very common in women. Is it possible for a new father, whether it's a first-time father or third, fourth time, to also go through some form of depression on the arrival of a child, as mothers go through postpartum depression? Is it possible to also have that on the male side?
On the male side, it's unlikely, because in women it's to do with the hormones. It's hormonal. Okay. So with men, unless there are other psychosocial factors which are contributing to that. Otherwise, in men, it's not really established. Yes, yeah.
All right, that's fine. I know you spoke about how there are other factors that affect. When we come to therapy, do you also help us to avoid our triggers when it comes to things that trigger us to be depressed?
In our term, we call them precipitating factors. That's the triggers, Amanda. Remember what I say, in therapy, we are looking at the whole person, Some of us use systemic approach where we're looking at your different subsystems in your life. Where is this coming from that is triggering you, that is precipitating depression? And we work with you so that you can know how to handle it better. We are not prescribing to you how to do it, but we help you prescribe for yourself how you can do it differently. So that next time, it doesn't bring you down.
Okay, I hear you. Thank you very much. How can we help our friends and our family who may be struggling with depression? Right now, we spoke about the many lockdowns that have happened. We don't want to be naive and act like I can just walk into a counseling center and say, I am here, I've got depression, please treat me. There's some money that goes into that. For those who may not have the financial means, are there places that are free or that are subsidized? That's the first part of my question. My second part is, as families, as friends, how do I help my husband if I can see, or if he has told me that he is suffering from depression? How do I help my child? How do I help my sibling?
I like your question.
Thank you.
Very pertinent. Are there areas in Zimbabwe where you can have some free counseling services? Yes and no.
Okay.
We have an organization, Connect, I sit on the board, actually, Connect. Yeah. Connect, really, we have facilities whereby those who don't have finances, we can kind of help them, actually. Yes, Connect is there, actually, Connect Zimbabwe. And that's where some of us trained, actually, that are very, very good, And then I always remind my clients, when I'm with them, that with me, I was sent to church, Nechegumi, tithe money, send me to church, to train me as a medical doctor. So when it comes to people who are in need, actually, here and there, we do offer just free service. I have worked with a number of orphans. I remember one young lady, the mother had died, and she was in severe depression. They won't afford the service. We offer free services, actually. Okay. Yeah, we can, with limitations.
Yes,
we can.
With limitations.
So
that all of us don't come flooding
Definitely.
for the free service.
Yeah. And then I know a number of, actually, as well, on our platform of mental health, advocates, we have a number of other counselors there who can really get out of the end to offer services. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're there.
Okay.
You just get in touch, then we see what we can do for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connect Zimbabwe.
Yes. And then, how do you help your family members?
Friends, yes.
You see, the problem which we face is this, actually. Many of us also, we have a lot of stigma against about mental health. We need to have, to change our attitudes. Don't judge them. Be there for them, what we call undivided positive regard, and empathize with them. If it's your husband, understand the gender issues that come with it. And don't shout it, negotiate with them. If you think you can't, win, those close friends who are there, them, so go through them. And let them speak, and sound them, and that way it kind of works, Or maybe, you can tell us, then we can phone them nicely, I will not be saying Amanda said this and this and this. No, we are confused, But, would you mind, we can sit and talk and chat about this issue. So it's a way of knowing how to go about them. Everyone is going to understand. There's somebody who's closer to them, whose voice they will listen. Yeah. Sometimes there are those ones who are really, really quite difficult to get through, but everyone has got someone whom they can listen to. So you identify those, close people, then go through them and see how it works out. Yeah. But the secret is that we need to be there for each other. Let's not be judgmental. Let's not criticize. Hey, you. Let's feel with them and be there for them. Then it will work out.
Yes. Okay. So I think what I've gathered from our little discussion is that depression is actually a struggle that someone goes through. It's not something voluntary.
No, it's not.
So it's not something that I can say, snap out of it.
No.
Or get your act together.
No.
It doesn't work like that. I actually need to take time.
Definitely.
And try to understand. So that's just a little bit of what we wanted to discuss. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Mwazha. But we cannot close this without reading from the Bible. In Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, it says, "Come to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden." Let me read it so that I don't paraphrase. Okay. Matthew 11, verse 28 says, now I can't find it. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I mean, when all else fails, sometimes we don't have the right words to say. Sometimes because we are going through our own pressures, we fail to empathize with our friends, with our family. But God says, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and He will give us rest. He will give us the right words. He will give us the right contacts So I hope that all of you have learned something about depression. Should you have any questions for Dr. Mwazha or other topics on depression or other aspects of depression that you want us to tackle, please say something in the comments below. We'll be very happy to read them and put it into action. Thank you so much for coming to Harare City Center Church, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
After time, I was searching for peace in some void. I was trying to blame on my ease in this world I was in. Safest relationships used me till I was done in. And all the time someone was waiting to free me from sin. He was there. Waiting patiently in line, he was there all the time. Never again will I look for a fake rainbow sand. Now that I know the answer for my life is just starting to mend, and living each new day with him is a breath of fresh life. And he was there patiently waiting in line. He was there all the time. He was there all the time, waiting patiently in line.
Mata inoki Moba Bateru Rohoko Orwangu Inindita Tauri Relane Emi Kana Zira Yosha Shaikwa Tetu Momaindi Fambe Nemi Handi Ngambo Bofambi Indeka Riri Kufu Futa Mira Uya Yakate Sewa Giwa Wawe Giwa Wanondi Tieza Ese Aya Mata Matambuto Tezi Fumaindi Jifambe Nemi Kuti Mandi Pazo Sororo Zepa Siji Zinowa Zinonado Ndozo Famba Negu Shinga Ndota Kura Yiwa Muchinjikoda Dakarandi Zione Tenzi Fumaindi Zifambe Nemi Kuti Mandi Pazo Zororo Zepa Zinowa Wanando Inindozo Famba Negu Shinga Inindota Kura Yiwa Muchinjikoda Dakarandi Tiwone Tenzi Vuma Yonji Fambe Nemi Kudenga kwa kanaka Hakuna matambuto Jesu ndiye mambo Tichano gara nae Kudenga kwa kanaka Hakuna matambuto Jesu ndiye mambo Tichano gara nae Kudenga Kumusha wa baba Mufaro Chete Never ke Ziso harisatira ona Zeve harisatianzwa Ijo Krista gadzirira Vanotenda vake Ziso harisatira ona Zeve harisatianzwa Ijo Krista gadzirira Vanotenda vake Kudenga Umusha wa baba Mufaro Chete Never ke Hama tende ukanasi Jesu achiri kudana Mukana uchiri ponasi Wekuno gara nae Yesu achiri kudana mukana uchiri ponasi wekunogara naye kudenga umusha wa baba mufaro chete chete never to never care kudenga kumusha wa baba mufaro chete chete never to never care never to
Hololo
Elisha
Sizohlala
Singabasha Sohlabeli
Kulolale
Elisha
Likamosi Nayijezu Awungiyabuza
Sizoyivuma kanjani
Ajelizangoma Songena na Songena na Songena na
Sizoyivuma kanjani lengomaka Sitobake
Masingena lena Amazulina Sonyatela Ikolide Sohlala njalo Nabangcwele Kuze kube naphakade Lalela wena Buya khona Kholela kuyo Jesu Sahlale kuwe Uhlale kuye Akuhlanze izono zakho wena Vumela umoya wakhe Akhokhelele wena Awunjalo qina wena Qina wena Ulalele Vumela umoya wakhe Awuvumela umoya wakhe Awunjalo qina Ulalele
izwi lakhe Sizoyivuma kanjani lengomaka Sizoyivuma kanjani lengomaka Situbake
Awuthina sizovuma
kanjani lengomaka
Bangobi tunga, bangobi sono, bangobi
Sizoyivuma kanjani lengomaka Situbake
Masingena lana Amazulina Sonyatela Ikolide Sohlala njalo Nabangcwele Kuze kube naphakade
Sizoyivuma lengoma
Ekhaya Yesu Emazulwini Ukhona baba Mayatuza Bayazutubi Ekhaya labangcwele baba Thokoza Sothokoza Sohlabelela
Just Yes,